Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Film Talk. My name is Will Braunlich. Now sit back, grab some snacks, and enjoy the review. Today, we'll take a look at one of the most anticipated movies of the year. Based on the critical and box office success the first movie had, we'll be taking a look at Dune. Part 2. Here is my reaction for the trailer. And now, let us travel back to a galaxy far, far away. Wait, this isn't Star Wars. This is actually a brand new sci-fi franchise we might be getting. We're gonna be taking a look at Dune, Part 2.
It's breathtaking. When you see sand here, imagine water.
It's coarse, rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
You dive in.
I had to make that joke somehow.
I don't believe you.
In the shadows of Arrakis lie many secrets. But the darkest of them all may remain.
Hi, Florence Pugh.
The end of House Atreides.
Your father didn't believe in revenge.
Fury, witness me!
What if
I'm trying to make
Atreides was still
as many
alive?
references as I can to all these previous successful sci-fi movies.
Have you ever had a dream about your first ride?
Oh, what do we got here?
Don't try to impress anyone. You're brave, we all know that.
What the heck is that?
Be simple. Be direct.
Whoa. So much sand.
I understand. Nothing fancy.
But then he proceeds to do something fancy. Well, that's cool, with the little all black and white.
People in trainings.
We gave them something to hope for.
That's not hope!
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Well, they got quite the cast here. To be honest, I'm actually really excited for this one. I really like the first Dune movie. The 1984 I've only seen like a little bit of, but I haven't seen like all the way through. There seems to be some similarities. I think Denis Villeneuve could go down as one of the best directors working today, or maybe ever, because he's had quite possibly hit after hit. He's made a lot of great movies like Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, which if you're a fan of the original, but you were hesitant to see this one, then I think this one is worth your time, personally. I know that the first one that came from a couple of years ago didn't get the same amount of love that I think people were expecting. Let me try to explain. Like, people were thinking it was too complicated to follow, or it was too long, which, you know, I can understand. I honestly feel like we didn't get much character out of much of anybody, but hopefully they do that again here. I'm hoping this goes down as a really good sequel, and something that could live up to the hype as the first one. The first one, it seems like they're trying to go back and make it seem like we're going back to Star Wars again. But I'm really excited for this. I think this is definitely worth seeing in IMAX, so I will go see it and I will give you my general thoughts. Dune Part 2 is directed by Denis Villeneuve and stars Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, and Javier Bardem. In this movie, Paul Atreides unites with Shani and the Freeman while seeking revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family. Before I give you my thoughts on this movie, I should probably give you my thoughts on the other Dune movies. To be honest, I never saw the entirety of the 1984 Dune or the miniseries from 2000, or even Children of Dune from 2003. I also didn't read the books, so this set of movies directed by Villeneuve was pretty much my introduction to the franchise. Dune from 2021, I really liked. I know one of the main complaints about the movie was that it was too slow. I can understand that, but the movie was such a spectacle, I almost didn't mind the slow pace. But this movie did well enough that it's warranting a sequel, and it's won a lot of awards in the process too. Now I have to say, I went into this movie with pretty high expectations. I'm going to be completely honest, after seeing this movie, I have to say not only is this better than the first Dune movie, but I might go as far as to say this is one of the greatest sequels ever. Aliens, Terminator 2, The Dark Knight, Empire Strikes Back, Dune Part 2. One of the things I liked about this movie is how they really have more character development and we really dive into the meat of the story. Nobody seemed overlooked and everybody got a decent amount of screen time, even though most of it went to Paul and Shawnee. Here's another thing I think that was done well, and that's the relationship between the main leads. In the first movie, I couldn't really buy that they were trying to build them as a couple, but here we see them interact a lot more throughout the whole movie, and we truly want to see them be happy together. I want to give a lot of credit to the performances we were given, but the two ones that stood out being Javier Bardem and Austin Butler. We'll get to Butler in a minute, but Bardem really helped balance the dramatic stuff with a good amount of humor. Now, this is a mostly serious movie, I think, but there are a few laughs spread throughout. One example I can think of without going into too many spoilers is him trying to convince people Paul is this person straight from a prophecy. He says, he's so humble, he won't say he's the one. That's how you know he is. Honestly, he was one of the best characters of the movie. Definitely the most entertaining. Now we talked about Bardem, let's get into Austin Butler's character. I think this is an interesting character for a different number of reasons. He comes across as calm and collected, but he also can be psychotic. Each time he speaks, I get goosebumps just hearing him talk. He does a good job at different voices. We've seen his work in Elvis, and this is another good example. Another reason I think he's an interesting character, again, without going into too many spoilers, there's a scene where, without much talking, he loves to fight, but he likes to fight with honor. That really stood out to me, as it just seemed like they were portraying him as one of the big villains of this movie. The movie also had great sound and music. The environment they were in had great sound from the animals to technology. Everything sounded great. The music being done once again by the legendary Hans Zimmer is a great soundtrack. Every song is a banger, and each song fit the scene to perfection. I think we should also discuss the visuals in this movie. Once again, this movie is gorgeous to look at. The cinematography is done by Greg Fraser. I think this man should get the credit he deserves. He also did the cinematography for Zero Dark 30, Rogue One, and Star Wars Story, and The Batman, all of which had beautiful shots. From the colors to the design of the world around them, everything was done great. I won't be shocked if this wins Best Cinematography at the 2025 Oscar Awards. There are two things I can think of that I wish were done differently. One is the Emperor, played by Christopher Walken. Yes, Walken has a role in this movie, and surprisingly, it doesn't feel like that big of a role. They try to build him up as another one of the major villains in this movie, but the problem is he doesn't get much screen time. The times they show him on screen, it's shockingly short. It's like Walken was charging the producer for every minute he was on screen. My guess is they're waiting to build him up more in the next movie since they're setting up a part 3. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the length of the movie. The film has a total runtime of 2 hours and 46 minutes, and for some that might be too long. However, not only was I engrossed in the whole project from beginning to end, but I kind of wanted it to go on for a little longer. I'm especially referring to the climax, and trust me, the climax was fantastic and a lot of fun to watch, seeing all these characters interact, but I kind of wish we just got a little bit more out of it. But thankfully, that's just a nitpick of mine, and it didn't ruin the movie for me at all. In the end, Dune Part 2 was great. If you liked the previous Dune movie, you'll like this one too. The characters are more fleshed out, the story is very gripping, and they even try to raise the stakes going into this movie, which I think a lot of successful sequels have done in the past. The visuals are amazing as always. I'm willing to bet Fraser will go down as one of the best cinematographers working today, but the writing was the icing on the cake. Everything fits, and it really helps the story going. I will see this movie again, and every time I see Denis Villeneuve's name attached to a movie, I'm 100% going to see it. My grade for Dune Part 2 will be A+. It's been so long since I've reviewed a good movie!
Will, you've reviewed like 3 bad movies.
It's been so long! Man, does that feel good. I hope you all enjoyed watching this review. Thank you for watching. Until next time, this is Will Braunlich, and I will see you at the movies. Save a seat for me.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.